I'm May, and this is May's Crochets. I'm a beginner crocheter sharing my learning to crochet journey. And today we're going to talk about magic rings and the magic ring substitute. And we're going to do some crocheting. So, I have been crocheting for a few months now. A big part of what I did to learn how to crochet has been working my way through a bunch of the Woobles Learn to Crochet kits. I've made a whole bunch of those, and I will link my playlist here. I have videos on my channel of every single Wooble that I've made. And the Woobles teaches a magic ring in a way that I think is a little bit non-standard. And that is how I've made magic rings from the very beginning. But every time I watch another YouTuber, crocheter, doing a tutorial, anything like that, they make the magic ring differently. And so I want to do a little bit of experimenting today. I want to show you the Woobles magic ring. I want to try to learn how these other people out there are all making magic rings and kind of compare the two of them and see which one I like better. And then I also want to try out the magic ring substitute, which I think is like the chain 2 method. I've seen a lot of people talk about that. Actually, the Woobles also teaches that. They give you a choice of chain 2 or magic ring, and they show both. And I've always just done the magic ring because I kind of wanted to do sort of the quote unquote real thing from the beginning, because I know it's like a little bit nicer. You kind of don't end up with a hole in the middle, but I've never actually tried the chain 2 method to see kind of how it compares. So I want to do all of that with you today. So I'm going to use a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook and worsted weight yarn. And let's get into it, starting with the Woobles magic ring method. This is how I learned how to make a magic ring from the Woobles. So I'm putting my crochet hook down for a moment, and let me try to walk through this. I do it so automatically now. Let's see how this goes when I have to slow it down. So you keep some amount at the end of your yarn tail, and you wrap the yarn around your pinky to sort of get into the crocheting position. You go over your index finger and you turn and wrap around. So you end up with like an X cross on your index finger. Hold it with your thumb. And then you pull the loop off of your finger and you end up with just a circle. So that's a pretty complicated way of just making a circle. Take your crochet hook, go through the circle, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then grab the yarn like this and pull it through, which is effectively a chain stitch. I feel like they maybe don't say that, but I think that is actually a chain stitch. And you end up with your circle like that to start off with. Let me show it one more time, and then we'll actually crochet into it. So wrap it around your pinky, pull up over your index finger, pull it around. You have your X, you pull the loop off, you go in, grab the yarn, whoops, grab the yarn, whoops, I'm not having good tension here. Grab the yarn and chain like that. And you've got your loop. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time, just sort of my quick kind of automatic way that I do it now. So ready? Here we go. Around, zoom, zoom. Like this, go through, whoops, and like that. Okay, so there's my circle, and now we'll do the actual single crochets into it. So we'll do 6 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I've got my 6 stitches here, and then now we're going to pull the end to close the ring. Pull, 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 pull. Okay. And here we have it. Let me take it off the crochet hook. It always looks a little funny until you kind of keep crocheting into it. But here is how that came out. Okay, so let me put this aside. And now I want to try to make the magic ring the way that everyone else does. So I'm going to pull up a video. I have seen everyone, literally every single other person I've ever seen. I've never seen anyone do it this way. Every other YouTube crocheter, tutorial, anything like that, I see them wrapping the yarn around 2 fingers. So I'm going to pull up a video, see how they do it, and I want to actually try to do it myself and compare. So I'm going to leave this one to the side for a moment, pulled up a different color yarn, and let's see how this goes. So let me get my video.
We're working from the end here, and I want you to place your end of your yarn in your palm like this, and we're going...
Okay, I think I get what they're saying. Let me try. So I bring it over. Let's watch this again.
Take the end of our yarn. It's really important that we're working from the end here, and I want you to place your end of your yarn in your palm like this, and we're going to use our thumb to hold it in place with our forefinger, and we're going to take our other hand and wrap this around our top 3 fingers, bringing it around this direction. Then we're going to cross this yarn strand with the other yarn strand, and we're making like a little X, and you can see it right here. So we have an X with our yarn. I'm going to hold it with my thumb and forefinger. I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit. I'm holding it with my thumb and forefinger right on the cross of that X. I'm going to turn my hand over and bring the other strand all the way around, and I'm holding it with my pinky finger here. You should have 2 parallel lines here, and I'm going to go ahead and go under the first strand like this, and I'm going to grab the other strand and bring it underneath, and I'm going to twist it clockwise this way. Now the next thing you're going to do is come up under the left strand of the yarn, and you're going to grab the loop, and you're going to pull it all the way through. And now we have a loop.
Okay, let me try to do it one more time, having watched the video a few times. So she wraps it around 3 of her fingers, like almost her whole hand, and then keeps the yarn in between these 2. I've seen a lot of other people, I think, only do 2 fingers, but let me try to do. So I bring it over, I wrap it, cross it, and bring it around again, so it's around 2 fingers. I take my crochet hook, I go under, grab the back yarn, turn it, and then go up, grab the left yarn, and pull it through. Like that, something like that. Let me try one more time. And then we'll actually complete the magic ring. The rest of the way I think is the same. So over like this, around, cross, I hold it like this. So I have 2 parallel pieces of yarn. I'm going to go under the first, grab the second, pull it through, and turn it. And then I'm going to go up and grab from the top left and pull it through like that. And it ends up kind of with the same shape as my other one, but it just, you make it in a different way. And I ended up with a much wider loop. And so now the rest of it's the same. There's different techniques to kind of do this, like crocheting into the loop, but let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and now we have a much wider ring, but we are going to pull it through like this. So in the end, I can take this off of my crochet hook. You know, of course, the actual look of these are very similar. It's all about the differences between these 2 methods. Is all about just how you do that first part of the magic ring, magic loop, how you actually like complete sort of the intricate sort of twisting and turning of kind of getting that circle started off and kind of doing that first a chain 1. She also didn't mention that it was a chain 1. But it's sort of the same idea. You just accomplish it in 2 different ways to like make that sort of first knot that you have the starting loop to then single crochet into. So here we go, magic rings, two different ways. I'm surely going to stick with my Woobles way just because it's the most comfortable for me and it's how I learn, but I can totally see how whichever method is like the most comfortable for you, you kind of learn it a certain way and it sticks and you just go with that. But I would encourage you, if you have struggled with making magic rings and you've been trying it sort of the more traditional way, do take a look at the Woobles tutorials. They do have free instructional videos separate from their kits. You can just go on YouTube and find their method of making a magic ring. I'll also try to link it in the description box below because it's just another way to make it. I feel like when I just talked through it just now, trying to explain it, it looked really, really complicated. But you know, I figured it out pretty easily. I know the first few times, probably a bunch of times, I found it really like hard to do, but I just watched the videos over and over again and now it's like automatic for me. I imagine it would be the same with any method. And so you just sort of have to stick with it, watch different tutorials, see how other people do it. But if that other method isn't working for you, maybe try a different one. So just keep looking for like different methods out there on YouTube and follow the videos and you'll eventually get it. So that was the magic ring. Now I want to compare it to the chain 2 method. I've never done this before, so I want to see how this actually ends up looking. So I'm going to grab one more yarn, also 3.5 millimeter hook and worsted weight yarn, and let me find another video with the chain 2 method and let's make it and see how it compares.
Make a slip knot in chain 2.
So you make a slip knot like this and chain 2. 1, 2.
Go into the first chain and place the required number of stitches from round 1 into that chain. For this example, we're going to do 6 single crochet in the first chain.
Okay, and then I go into the first stitch from the chain 2 and do my 6 single crochet.
It's as easy as that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and that's it. And you can kind of pull it tight. Oh my gosh, that's easy. That's way easier. Is that it?
Now we have our magic ring substitute. Number 2, closing the
Okay, that's really easy. And it comes out actually looking really, really neat. Let me do it again, and then we can compare. So you make a slip knot. So this is like how you start a lot of different things like in crochet. So it's pretty standard. So you make your slip knot, put your hook through, crochet position. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then you just do those same single crochets that you typically do into the magic loop. You do straight into the first chain stitch. So I'm going to go into this first one here. I'm going to try to keep this tight if I can. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then, so I have this hole here, which is, I know what people say is like the bad thing about the chain 2 method. You end up with a hole. But look, I think I can like kind of then, if I pull it, if I pull the tail, it still like closes it up. So look how neat that is. Compared to, I mean, it's the same. Is it the same? It looks very similar, right? So, this is good to know about. I feel like this is actually maybe something that I want to try in the future because it's really easy. Like the actual chain two and then single crochet into that chain stitch feels very kind of fluent, feels very easy because it's much more of the standard thing that you're used to with crocheting as opposed to the magic ring. It's kind of a little bit awkward to kind of get that first, the loop kind of started. And then actually even then doing single crochets into it because it's kind of all loose, it's a little bit awkward versus doing it into the chain stitch feels a lot easier. I assumed that, and maybe this depends on the yarn, but I assumed that because you were doing this chain method and people say you end up with a hole, that it would be kind of a very visible hole and it would really not be ideal. But it actually, when you pull that yarn, it kind of closes up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I want to actually crochet a few more rounds into each of these just to compare them side by side and see how the look kind of ends up being as you keep going, just to sort of complete this experiment and end up with how I feel the chain two kind of turns out in the end. Because it's one thing to kind of look at it just in this first round, but let's see what it looks like in a few more rounds. So I'll be back in a moment. And I'm back. Okay, let's take a look. So this one is the magic ring. I did, for both of these, I just did a couple more rounds. I did, so I started with 6 single crochet, and then I did a round of 12 of basically 2 increase in every stitch, and then a round of 1 single crochet, and then increase, 1 single crochet, and increase, and went around some more. So this is the magic ring. You can see that nice circle in the middle, nicely closed. I could probably even pull the tail a little more in the back and pull it even a little bit tighter. So there's my magic ring as opposed to my chain 2. There is my chain 2. And when I was working it, I did notice that the hole was like a little bit visible. But again, I pulled on the tail. Yeah, there it is. If I pull tight, do you see that? You can sort of see there's a hole in the middle if I pull like that. But then I can, with the tail, I can kind of pull it tight, but yeah, it doesn't close like the magic loop. The magic ring like really goes, if you pull, it really gets rid of any type of middle hole, as opposed to because of this chain 2 method, there is an actual hole there. And so no matter how hard I pull, like it's not gonna all the way get there. And here's how it looks. But it still looks very, very neat. So I could totally see, this is sort of my takeaways from our little experiment here in terms of magic ring versus chain 2 method. I really think either one is great, especially if you struggle at all with doing the magic ring, magic loop. I really think doing the chain 2 method is totally, totally fine. I have seen other amigurumi crocheters out there who never do the magic ring and they only ever do the chain 2 method, and it's totally fine. Look at that. You got a little circle, you got your rounds, like it really does not matter. I could definitely see, especially with like more plush yarns like chenille, the hole in the middle would disappear right away because of the fluffiness of the yarn. It'll just like fill in that gap. I imagine I'll have to actually try this with chenille, but chenille is quite difficult often to do the magic ring because when you pull the magic ring closed, it'll like snag or it won't pull smoothly. And sometimes the yarn will split depending how strong it is. So I could definitely see something like chenille yarn or any yarns of that variety doing this chain 2 method. I see that you do end up with a little bit of a hole, but it's really quite minor. And yeah, if you pull the back, it kind of closes it up, but it does leave a teeny tiny hole. So I can see why people prefer the magic ring. And I think I probably will stick with the magic ring just because it has that really, really neat sort of circle with the hole all the way closed. But I can totally see why people would really do either one. I feel like either one is totally fine, and I'm glad to have now tried this so I can actually compare. So if in the future I'm working with a yarn that's really hard to work with, maybe to make a magic ring, I will totally just switch back to doing the chain two method. I could definitely see that that would be totally fine. And in terms of the actual differences in the magic ring or magic loop, what do people call it? It's funny that there's more than one word for it. In terms of the differences between those methods, I think I'm going to stick with my Woobles method just because that's what I've learned and that's what I'm most comfortable with. But I think the other ways are fine. So a little bit of experimentation for the day. I think, in the end, I'm probably going to land with doing exactly what I did before, the Woobles magic ring method. But it's good to know that there's other methods of starting the magic ring out there, as well as the chain two method. And kind of seeing that the results are so similar. It's good to have that kind of in my back pocket if I ever struggle with a certain type of magic ring, with a certain type of yarn in the future, making a magic ring, or to encourage other people out there to really do it either way, since both are great and they came out both really nice. So I think that's it for today. Stay tuned for future videos where I do more of these crochet experiments. I'm learning all these different techniques, comparing different things. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts around these different methods. Do you do chain two? Do you do magic loop? How do you start your magic loop? Does anyone else do it the Woobles way? Definitely let me know your thoughts. So thank you so much for keeping me company, and I'll see you next time. Bye.